Are you in constant negotiation with your child in order to get them to share or take turns without it resulting in a complete meltdown? Then don't go anywhere, because I'm about to walk you through not only how to teach your child how to share and take turns when they developmentally technically have that skill, and quite frankly, which one is going to be better, all in which is backed by research. So let's get started. Welcome back. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Alicia Tomowski, and this is my channel, The Parent Brain Ball Game. Because let's be honest, guys, sometimes this parent brain, it is just not all that intuitive, and you have to play ball with your kids, both figuratively and literally, to get that job done. Here, my passion is to provide you with parenting tools, not tips, tricks, or hacks, but parenting tools. I have an applied behavior analysis foundation, and I like to think that I make them user-friendly. Now, I want to set you guys up for success. The odds are, so you're a caregiver and you have a short amount of time that you're working with anyways, so I kind of need to drop that knowledge as quickly as possible. So go get yourself a notebook, because here we go. Sharing and turn-taking are actually vastly different, but we have a tendency to use them interchangeably. Sharing involves a common item that our child is able to play with simultaneously with another child, like a bag of cars or a bag of blocks, to whereas turn-taking involves our child giving up a toy for a predetermined amount of time. So when we ask our child to share something, are we actually asking them to share? Are we asking them to take a turn, meaning give up that item to another child? With that said, let's begin by making sure that we're using the correct terminology when we talk to our kiddo. When we want them to share, do we truly want them to share? Is there an item that we're able to split up and they both simultaneously play with? Or are we really asking that they take turns and give that item up for a predetermined amount of time? Now, the plan is going to be pretty similar, but your vocabulary is going to change because your child intellectually needs to understand what's going on. Nonetheless, sharing and turn-taking require such big emotions that, quite frankly, your child, depending on their developmental age, might not have in their repertoire. Now, those emotions are empathy. That means that we're requiring our child to push aside their emotions and consider somebody else's first, okay? Now, we do see empathy in infants, but the foundations of empathy doesn't technically evolve until around the age of 2 years. Turn-taking and sharing also requires perspective taking, okay? And that means that your child has to be able to see a point of view from somebody else's shoes other than our own. That actually doesn't develop until around the ages of 6 or 7. So when we're requiring our child anywhere from 2 all the way up to 5 to turn, take, or share, are we really being fair to them? No, they don't have those emotional skill sets in their repertoire in order to successfully do it without those meltdowns. But that does not mean that we can't teach them the mechanics of turn-taking or sharing. Now, that's why I recommend something called errorless learning. And what that means is that we jump in right away. We jump in at that opportunity. As soon as another child starts approaching our kid or a sibling starts approaching our kid, and you kind of see that either sharing or turn-taking is about to happen, you're going to creep up behind that and you're going to jump right in and you are going to assist with that because you want your child to kind of engage in as few errors as possible. Now, the odds are is that you're just not always going to be present when your child has those opportunities to take turns or share. So what we need to do is we need to pre-teach, okay? And by that I mean, first of all, we need to model. We need to model how to share and take turns. Again, making sure that we're using the correct terminology. And I'm going to go on a quick soapbox here, okay? It drives me bonkers when parents are like, okay, well, share your cookie with your brother. They're not getting that cookie back, okay? They're not sharing it. They are giving part of their cookie to their brother. There is no return policy on that, okay? So just make sure that you're using the right terminology, all right? And with that said, the correct terminology is sharing. There is no real end to it, okay? The other child gets to determine when their opportunity to share is over and they give it back to you, okay? Versus turn taking, there is a discrete end to turn taking. Think of it like when you're playing a board game, like you roll the dice, you take your turn, now your turn is over. Same thing here. I know that more often than not, they're engaging in some sort of open-ended play, okay? So you might have dinosaurs, you might have Barbie dolls or something like that, but you want to make sure you also want to teach your child how to do this as well. You want to teach your child that if they're going to give a friend a turn, you want to identify when that turn is over, okay? So it becomes like, yeah, sure. You know what, Bobby? You want my Barbie doll? You can play with it. Once you get the Barbie doll up into the kitchen, or once you get the Barbie doll down into the basement, or once you get the Barbie doll outside into her car, it's now my turn. Your turn is over, then it becomes my turn. And again, that's where that pre-teaching opportunity comes in for you. You want to teach your child how to take control in some aspect of that turn taking. So then once Bobby marches that Barbie doll and stops and has a bite of food at the restaurant and takes the Barbie doll out into the car. Well, now Bobby's turn with my Barbie doll is over. Now it's my turn again. So again, it's all of those pre-teaching skills, okay? And you want to make sure that when you're first teaching, sharing, or turn taking at this point in time, you want to make their turn long, because you want to make sure it's a safe environment. Because a lot of times when children try sharing or children try taking turns, there's a lot of snatching going on, okay? And that's when the tears start happening or the fights start happening. So while you're in this pre-teach mode, you want to make sure it's like a safe environment so your child knows, like, okay, when you're sharing or when you're turn taking, you're gonna get it back. It gives value to the not yet and no. It teaches delayed gratification, and additionally, it promotes self-regulation. And your child is able to do that so much better when they know when there's a discrete end and when their turn comes next, versus sharing when it's just kind of so open-ended. It's super important to capitalize on those teachable moments for your kiddos. Interject and create that errorless learning, okay? Don't allow them to have so many errors in one exchange. It's also important that remember that sharing and turn taking is an emotional response for our child, and it's actually not factual for them at all. With that said, it wraps it up for me today, guys. So if you found value in today's video, don't forget to hit subscribe and that little bell icon that lets you know when I come up with future trainings or videos, which I do try to do weekly. And kind of comment below if there's maybe any other behaviors that maybe you want to touch on, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.